What is up, guys? Welcome back to the $1 Million Challenge, where I start off with $1, trying to get 1% profit every single day until we get to $1 million. Right now, we're sitting on day 436 of this challenge, where the total capital is sitting at $5,534. Since the last episode, we have a couple updates. So I did play some sports bets for the day here. I actually have two sets of pages to show you guys. We did a lot of sports bets for the day. Overall, though, I think we were $20 in profit between all the sports bets. So here's the first section of sports bets here. And here is the second set of sports bets. So these are back from March 26th and placed a lot of bets that day. I track volume bets on Instagram. There's a link to his page in my Discord server if you join there. He just posts all these bets for free. He's good at what he does. So I track him, I tell his bets, and there's just proof that I place those bets. So that explains the movements between all the different apps I use that we have listed here. So I think sports betting was profitable. But for the day here, you can see crypto. I have Bitcoin and XRP. It dropped like $50. So pretty big dip in crypto from March 26th. And then the stock market portfolio I have with ETFs also dropped. It dropped $26. So since we dropped like $76 between our investments, it was a negative day going into it, and to get our 1% profit goal, we should get $55. But since we had, some losses for the day there, we'd have to get $113. Now, recently, I've been trying to go for these big catch-up days, right? I try to net profit 1% a day, even if I'm down going into the day. I try to, get our return to catch us back up to the baseline, and then I try to get 1% profit once we get caught up. So I chase losses by gambling. For today though, since we do this pretty often, it's been happening a lot recently, and you can see these days here where I had to get like $100 here, and I had to get $122 here. These bigger days, they're really hard to come back from. Even back here, you can see we go for $128. I rarely come back from trying to chase losses like that. Anytime there's a big triple digit number where we're sitting at right now, I rarely recover. You can see all these days here. So because of that, I'm gonna try something a little bit different. We're gonna just take our L today, and I'm gonna play the next 2 days. So we're just gonna, take the L. I'm gonna pull these numbers down here as if we just didn't gamble today. Because risking 4% of the bankroll to try to catch up and then get an additional 1% hasn't really worked recently in the past month. So we're just gonna take the L. We went down 1%. I don't want to risk going down an additional 4%, so it'd be a total of 5%. We've been losing recently a good bit. We were up to $6,000. Now we're down like $500 from our peak, about 10%. So I don't want to risk it. I think we're just going to take the L today. We might come back and try to get some extra profit based on the next 2 days here. So quickly looking at the next 2 days, if I just drag some numbers down real quick, just to give you guys a little bit of an insight, you could see that we are going into, there we go. You can see we're going into these 2 days with some profit. So I gotta get $30 and then $24. And again, these numbers will change a little bit as I get, the first day done. But the idea is to try to just get these small wins. Typically, that's what I'm looking for with this challenge when it comes to gambling, is just to get a little bit of extra profit, not necessarily chase losses with gambling because it's super risky, which I've been doing a lot recently. And I think it's going to be a smarter play just to try to get these 2 days to 1%. And then maybe if we can get those 2 days, I'll try to get some extra profit and kind of recover this day a little bit. But I don't want to risk the bankroll too much, so I'm going to skip that day there and just keep pushing on. We're going to try to do these next 2 days here. I should mention too, for day 436, we had $10 in casino bonuses between all the different apps I use. I show anything on camera that's over $10 per bonus. So we had $10 total for the day between different apps. But moving on to day 437, we had some sports bets for the day. It was a losing day sports betting, but it wasn't terrible. So it was, we'll take it. We had a couple wins, couple losses. There's our sports bets for March 27th. And then you can see that crypto also went down again, another $70, maybe $60. And then the stock market also went down again too. But we had a couple futures placed which also increased this column here. So you can see the casino apps went up for the most part. I had a total of $45 in bonuses between all the different apps here. So it's a lot of bonuses for the day. But yeah, we won. I think we got a lot of bonuses and we placed a lot of sports bets. I had a king of the court on DraftKings, which paid out like $50. It's probably better I just don't explain that. It's just like a promotion. If you place a bet on an NBA player, they do really good. Volume bets I track. He chose, I think it was Luka, and he did really good that day. He was like the best performing player. So I got a $50 bonus bet from that. And there was like another thing that paid out like $44 in bonus bets. So I did get some bonus bets, which aren't like technically tracked in the bonuses because that was like a little bit different. But we placed some futures bets that also increased this column. So even though the markets went down with crypto investing, we lost some money sports betting. The bonuses from those promotions that I got from placing bets on DraftKings, I should have screenshot that to show proof of that, but we placed those as futures, so we actually I think made some profit on the day. And now I'm going to show the bonuses real quick that I did record. Alright, so we got our weekly bonus on the website we use. Can't mention the name, but we got $9.91. And I think really, I say I'm going to show anything over $10, but I think for the website purposes, since that's what I record on a lot, that's kind of the main content of the channel, I'm going to always show the weekly and the monthly bonuses on here. Even though if they're under $10, I'll still show them. On Fanatics, though, we had a 20% deposit match up to $20. So I had deposited $100 and got $20 in casino credits. So here's me. I didn't show the deposit, but I did put $100 in. And then I had some extra money in there, $2.67 sitting in my account. So I converted that to casino credits. And then we take that to takeoff, which is pretty much like Crash or Fly X. It's all kind of the same thing here. But I put on a 1.01x, just like a super safe bet, kind of to guarantee that it's a win. And I did $20 at first. I cashes out. And then I do an extra $2 because I couldn't do $22. I had to do two separate bets there. So I did $2 and that also cashes out. So like I said, for the day we had $45.53 in bonuses between all the different apps. Really $22 from Fanatics, and that also $9.91 from the website was most of that. That's $31 right there. So we had an extra $14 from the other casino apps that I use. But with our total capital at $5,559, our 1% profit goal should be about $56. Our 4% stop loss is $222. But we already had some profit, mainly with the bonuses there. So we have to get $30. And then if you watch me, you know what I typically do with the bonus from the website is I include that as part of this goal here because it's not actually included in the beginning of the day. So we're really going to be going for $20. We're going to subtract this bonus and use that as part of our profit for the day. So we're going to go for $20 on the website. Should be a super easy day. Hoping we can actually just get a really easy win. Even though last time we were going for $40, couldn't pull it off. But hopefully today will be a lot easier. Alright, so we're going to try the crash strategy that I've ran many times before. And not to jinx it, but we never busted on this. And I'm going to let this go for a little bit. I'm going to talk for a second because I just checked the game history here. And what I do for this strategy is I go for a 1.03x and just keep rolling over the winnings with my entire 4% stop loss. Right now I have $222. But if we get a win, I just keep rolling it over and building the bet size up so we keep carrying that win forward and having bigger bet sizes. But typically when I come in here, I kind of like to see a 1.01x, 1.01 or something really small that's would be a loss for us. There hasn't been one in about 10 minutes. So I was kind of looking through the history here. I know every game's independent of each other, doesn't really matter. But I do kind of like to feel a little bit more confident knowing that a 1.01x already hit or something. But yeah, there hasn't been too many recently. But I think we're just going to rip it, man. I don't know if we're just going to wait around for a 1.01x. because like I said, every game's technically independent of itself. You can't like use past history to make a single bet. There it is. That's crazy. Whew. I can't believe that just happened. But really, every bet is independent, so you know it doesn't really matter. That's crazy. We got super small multipliers. All right, we're gonna go all in here, and the idea is a 1.03x is super safe. Okay, that hits. I was ready just to take an L, but we just gotta get this 3 times to get to our $20 in profit. So hopefully this works out pretty good. But yeah, it is super risky. I'm risking the entire 4% on each bet. Second one hits. So we just gotta get one more win and we should be good for the day. But yeah, it's you know, I like to say it's safe, but obviously you're using a massive bet size to go for a 1.03x. But like typically when I'd run this, we would go for the entire 1%, which I think is like 18 bets. So I think it's like anywhere from like 16 to like 20 bets. All right, we hit it a 3rd time. There's $20 in profit. Oh, that feels so good. To bust on that would be terrible. But like realistically, dude, I know it's like super safe going for a 1.03x. I think technically it's like a 97% win chance. But realistically, yeah, you could easily get one loss and your entire bankroll, or for me, you know, this is my entire playable bankroll for the day, could easily just get entirely wiped. So it's definitely stressful, but I thought it made sense today, just going for like 3 quick wins. Luckily it worked out, so we're gonna take that win and we'll move on to the next day. Day 437 was a win. I gotta back this out actually. So we entered our data in here. I gotta back out the bonus, which was $9.91, just out of this column real quick. So we profited $20.59 on the website. We had our 1% profit goal. That's just to make sure that, you know, this column is tracking our gambling profits correctly, because that bonus is not technically part of our gambling profits. So that's accurate. But yeah, we went up about $30 on the website there. And then moving on to day 438, which was back from March 28th. We have our sports bets for the day. I think we pretty much broke even. I think we lost like $2.50 between all the different bets there. We had a lot of wins, but then we had 2 like pretty big, well, I guess the losing bet was really like 1 bet, but I had to place it separately because I used the boost for part of it. So it was a pretty big bet though. We did lose that one, so we broke even on the day, which is fine. When it comes to sports betting, I'll take a break even compared to a loss. So there's that. And then we had $15.58 for bonuses for the day between all the different apps that I use and websites. So crypto went up $6, pretty much stayed flat. And then it's the weekend for March 28th. So the stock market obviously isn't open on the weekends, so that stayed flat too. But we're sitting at $5,621 in total capital, which makes our 1% profit goal $56. Our 4% stop loss would be $225. And then we already had some profit from bonuses and I guess crypto a little bit. So we need to get $25 in profit on the day to hit our 1% profit goal. All right, coming back into the website, we're gonna vault some money here because we just made some profit and I wanna make sure we have our 4% stop loss. So we're gonna vault $17.59, which will bring us to $225. And then we'll reset the live stats. And we're gonna run our auto strategy I've been running recently. I wanna show you guys the conditions real quick. So this is the 75% win chance auto strategy I've been running the past few episodes, but if you haven't seen those, here are the conditions. Pretty straightforward. Basically the way this works is like every time you get a loss, you're going to increase your bet by 315% until you get a win, and then it'll reset the bet amount. So, you know, there's all the conditions if you want to check it out, I guess. I'm not going to dive into all those, but the way this works is the bet size should be 1 cent for every $10. So since we're at 225, my bet size should be like 22 cents to 23 cents, but I like to play a little bit safer. I'm not really sure if it even matters with the progressions, because the way I think about it is if I don't, do that full amount, I'm like 3 cents short. So maybe I have like an extra progression if we get like, a ton of losses. And the way this does work too, if I guess I get 7 losses. So if I do some math real quick, if I do 3.15, that's once. I'm trying to do the math. We get 1 loss. We triple up. 2 losses. 3 losses. 4 losses. 5. 6. Yeah, probably like 5 losses, really. Yeah, I was just trying to do the math on that, but obviously I'm doing the bet size, so it would be like cumulative. I'm trying to add up all those bet sizes in my head. I think it could be like 5 losses in a row, and then it bust. I thought it'd be way more than that. That's kind of scary, actually. I didn't realize that. Interesting. Okay. Either way, I gotta start this. I'm getting distracted. So we're gonna start with 20 cents. I guess no. You know what? We'll do 23 cents. We'll just do it how it's supposed to be. So that should be our bet size, and then we will start this. And I'll turn on instant bet. If it hits a big dip, I will try to slow it down a little bit. But we need $25 for the day. So hopefully we can get there pretty easy. We'll see. This obviously does have a very probable chance of busting. The more you run it, the more you're going to run into those long streaks. And I've been running this a lot recently, so I'm kind of nervous that this is going to bust soon. I typically try to run this for like 300 to 400 bets, 500 bets maybe. I feel like 1,000 is probably doable, but I don't know if I would personally push us past 1,000. But this is one of my favorite strategies. We'll see how it goes. It's actually doing pretty good right now. 75% win chance. So it's obviously, pretty high win rate, but you can definitely hit that red section many times in a row. Try to get this like 15 bucks. Just slow it down a little bit. And we just got a lot of losses. Okay, there's a win. And we just hit a loss at the end there. So I'm going to just manually do this for a little bit. Okay, there's $15 in profit. Still need $10. That was very safe. The way it worked out was very safe. I mean, obviously the strategy can bust. But look, we just did about like 260 bets. Relatively safe. And I like that a lot, so let's just hop in a different game, try to get like $10 more. So we're in diamonds now. I'm gonna try to do my down and bear strategy, where I start with a 60-cent base bet, and then every time we lose, we add a unit, which is 60 cents, and then every time we win, we'll decrease a unit. I know some people, there's a good hit right there. Look at that, 4x on a $2.40 bet. What was the profit on that? $7.20. Not bad, not bad. I know some people don't like this. I've been running this a lot too, but dude, it works. I think it busted once. So speaking of which, there's another good hit. Look at that, another 4x. We're almost there. Speaking of which, when it comes to strategies, I'm gonna run another challenge soon. I had a couple people in my Discord server talk about doing a community challenge. I ran one back in the summer of last year. Back in, I think like July and August, maybe up until like September. But basically, all right, there's our profit goal. Basically, I ran a community challenge just to see like who has the best strategy, and this is like what I do, right? So right now I have like a couple strategies I just run every episode pretty much because I know they typically work. But the idea is to find a strategy that does work and just add it to my like tool belt to try to get profit every day. So we're gonna do another challenge soon. I'm gonna I'll post it on my Discord server. But if you're interested in that, feel free to leave a comment below or join the Discord server to get more information. We'll probably do it in like May, I'm thinking. But basically, I'm gonna run your guys' strategies and try to find a really good strategy that I can start using for my challenge, and then you guys can see what works from other people. So we'll leave it at that. We just hit our profit goal for the day, so we're gonna enter that in the sheet, and yeah, we'll enter the sheet. Day 438 was a win. We got $26.62 in profit on the website. So we hit our 1% profit goal. And then just to show you guys too, I'm kind of looking at the next day here. This is like the current day I'm recording. I just like entered these finalized numbers in because all the bets like cashed out for the day. So I'm not gonna play that day like right now. I don't want to do like 4 days in one video. But just looking ahead at it, if I just drag the numbers down, you can see that in the next episode, kind of same thing, dude. We're down 1% on the day. We have to get $108. Very similar to like the first day of this video. I don't like to see that. You know, the chasing losses, man. I don't know. I'm kind of considering like maybe not chasing if we're down. So the thing is, I talked about this, I think like 2 episodes ago, maybe 3. But ChatGPT, it's very bad at giving like strategies and suggestions for my challenge. I really try to like really get into it with ChatGPT and try to ask for advice. And I feel like with my challenge, it's never been done before. So it's like really bad at giving me advice. I have to give it like so many variables and try to explain the way I do things. And the thing is, dude, like it remembers what I tell it. So like it knows what I'm doing. It knows my challenge. It knows like my, stop loss, my profit goal, how I do everything, my allocations, like it knows. But it did suggest on days, and I did mention this too, on days where I'm down less than 2%. So if I'm down, 1%, 1.5%, or even 2%, I should try to use Blackjack as a flat bet strategy to recover or just go down 2%, like use 2% as my stop loss. So if I am down 2% on the day, if I lose another 2%, I'm down 4% total. That's like the safest method to maintain the bankroll, not necessarily like grow it, but it's a method that mathematically AI suggested maintains the bankroll. So it basically, I guess I should say too, it said to use like a 1% unit size for those blackjack hands. So I should place like one hand at 1% of my bankroll to try to recover. And then like, all right, let me try to explain that a little bit better. For day 436, right? For example, I'm down 4%, down 1%. So it suggested like the best method to keep the bankroll flat or grow and like take on like little risk without like tanking it down more would be to bet a $55 hand, like a 1% unit hand, and go for 2 wins pretty much. So if I win the first hand, I'm even, I try to place another hand, and then I'm 1% in profit. Just 2 blackjack hands in that scenario. And if I lose like the first 2 hands, I bust my 2% for the day. Instead of using the 4%, I would only be down a total of 3% on the day instead of 5% if I use 4% of the bankroll to try to recover. So what I'm going to try, I'm basically giving this like one shot, okay? We're going to try to do it for day 436. I'm going to place 1 blackjack hand at 1% of the bankroll, kind of just like go backwards. And the reason I'm doing that really is if I do lose the hand, I'll probably just do like 1 hand. I don't know if I'm actually going to try to do 2. If I do lose the first hand, I'm basically just going to wipe out our profits for the day. So it won't be the worst thing if I lose, because I'll just pretty much like stay flat on the video. And not lose too much. But if it works out, I might just do one hand and not do a second hand. We'll see how I'm feeling. But I kind of want to give it a shot. I feel like this is a good situation to test AI strategies and see if this actually like makes sense and works. But hopefully I explained that well. I think it's kind of like doing those big bets are kind of like nerve-wracking, but I think it kind of makes sense because, you know, the way I play, doing these like different strategies and stuff with a 4% stop loss, obviously recently trying to chase those big losses hasn't worked out well. So this is what it suggested, and it does kind of make sense. If I win, it will make a lot of sense, but if I lose, I'll be like, that was the dumbest AI suggestion I've ever received. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I might be losing an additional 1%, or we might just like get 1%. I feel like it's not that risky. So we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna hop on the website, try to get an additional 1% on Blackjack, and I guess pretty much just try to like recover this day, keep it a break even. That's kind of the goal here. Let's give it a shot. All right, we're in Blackjack, man. I'm gonna reset the live stats, close that out, and we'll rip it, dude. So we're gonna do a $55 hand. It's 1% of our bankroll. I'm closing the live stats because I don't want to see the results pop up before they pull it on the table, because the live stats update beforehand. So we'll see what we get. We get a 20 against a 6. Feels pretty good. I'm so nervous right now, dude. I'm so nervous. I don't know why. It's only like 1%. It's not that big of a deal if I do lose this. But I am very nervous. I don't know why, man. We've just been losing a lot recently, and we push. Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh. All right, we're going to run it back. I thought we had that. That's why I was nervous, man. You never know. You can feel so confident and still push or lose. Oh boy, she has a 10, we have an 8, and we get a 12. Oh boy. Alright, there's no reason to be nervous. There's no reason to be nervous. We get a 20. Crazy pull. Crazy pull. Yeah, it's really 1%. So we either go up 1% or down 1%. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just, like I said, AI said this is a way to another push. Craziness. Craziness. AI said this is a way to keep the bankroll flat and, you know, not take too much risk. Okay. Okay, we get a 20. That dude has 2 aces. That's nuts. Yeah, we're definitely gonna stay in that. So that's kind of the reason too. I'm only doing 1% instead of trying to get 2% and get the profit goal for the day. This is like 113 bucks. Another 20, bro. This is nuts. Oh my gosh. I feel like we're gonna lose after doing all this. I think this is a sign that I should probably just stop. But the reason I'm doing 1% is we have to double or split. Then I would be placing like a 2% bet. Oh my gosh, 2 9s against a 6 is a split, right? Yeah, it's a split. Bruh. Alright, we gotta get the emotions out of it. We gotta be stoic. We gotta be stoic and focus up. Good pull. Good pull. 2 19s. This could be huge. This could be huge, man. He pulled a 20. That's good for him, dude. That's crazy. All right, here we go. 16. Just don't pull a 4 or 5. She bust. Dude, we got our get back. We got our... Yeah, we broke even, and we got our 1% profit goal for that day. So we just recovered. That's craziness, dude. That's so crazy. Oh my gosh. My heart's racing. I try to always say, man, and you guys always like really compliment me on that without having like too much emotion and stuff. But dude, still gambling, bro. I get emotional. I have emotions. I'm a human being. Feels good though. Dang, bro. But yeah, I try not to use too much emotion, but yeah, I'm gonna have emotions for sure. Either way, we're gonna enter that in the sheet, and we'll wrap up the video. All right, coming back in the sheet, I'm going to update this column, or I guess this cell right here, basically with our new balance, which will be $633.16, which will say we have 3% on the day, but really that's, I don't want to really go back and kind of mess with the sheet too much, so we're just going to update it here, since it was mainly to catch this back up, but it worked out, and we're just gonna leave it in this column here, because that will equalize everything. And on the video we went up 3%, so we got our 1% profit pool for all 3 days. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I battled ChatGPT on that strategy, and asked all the variables and like how likely that is and stuff. So I don't know, man. It worked out, but I don't know if I want to do it every time if we're down like 1% and stuff. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a little bit aggressive, but I guess if you do lose, you're only down like 1%, 2% max. On days like that, you're only risking 2% of the bankroll, not risking 4%. And it's going to slow the growth, I guess, if we don't try to recover and get the 1% profit goal each day. But at the same time, like every time I did this before, like I said in the beginning of the video, every time we try to do that, we typically lose, and it sends us deeper. So I guess, that's kind of the method, is like, instead of trying to go get that 1% profit goal. I mean, that's a good data point too. I try to really track the data, and as you can see, man, like all these days, I mean, that was a profitable day. But typically, if the goal is over like $100, I guess there's one right here too. It's pretty high. But yeah, I mean, typically if the goal is over $100, it's really hard to come back. And that's what I was looking at. That's why I asked ChatGPT for suggestions on days where I'm already down and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Pretty crazy. I don't know if I mentioned this too, but for the day we had $9.40 in bonuses. Or sorry, $15.58 in bonuses between all the different apps. And then this number here is our weekly gain. So I've been trying to track that recently too. So this week here we went up 8%, and then we went down almost 9% after getting these 3 losses, which really isn't that bad, because these 3 losses add up to 12.4%. So we, I mean, it's still not that great, but it's whatever. And then this is pretty much saying we stayed flat for the week, which is basically just taking this number here and comparing it to this number right here. So we can go up a little bit, but yeah, we're working our way back. That was I'm still kind of out of breath from doing that blackjack hand. Again, I gotta work my emotions, I guess, a little bit too, because I remember at the beginning of the challenge, I go for like 1 penny, which is like 1% of the bankroll. I would bet 1 penny each bet, which is 1%. And obviously it's not as stressful because it's just a penny, but it's the same concept, man. That's basically what I just did there. I just placed 1 penny on a $1 bankroll. So I gotta think about it that way, which is tough. It's definitely tough, but I know I'm kind of rambling, but the tracker is saying at this point we should be at $7,800 about if we got 1% profit every single day, which is not realistic. So we're about $2,000 behind now, but I'm not trying to think about it like that. I think a good measure is probably just like going back to the beginning of the year, which would be right here. So within about 3 months now, we're up $2,000. That's a way better comparison than thinking we're $2,000 behind the tracker. Within 3 months, we just made $2,000, which is pretty nuts, pretty crazy. I actually haven't really thought about that until right now. That's pretty crazy. It took us like 1 year to get to $3,600. This is from December 31st. So $3,600. We got $2,000 in 3 months. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's all relative, man. You just gotta look at it different ways. So finally, I'll stop talking here in a second. But this is where we're sitting at. So we're still recovering a little bit. We're definitely not going down, which is good. Just trying to stay flat and get little gains each day. Like I said, maybe on those days where I'm already down from sports betting or the stock market, maybe I won't gamble as much or chase losses. Maybe I'll just like skip the day, take the L. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The challenge would definitely take longer if I do that. But at the same time, if I try to get that 1% profit goal each day and I lose, then that sets us back even more. So, I'm trying to weigh out that benefit versus the risk. So I think gambling is probably like the worst way of trying to grow the bankroll between sports betting, stock market, getting those bonuses. But at the same time, those bonuses are typically from gambling. So I don't know. Yeah, it's getting kind of complicated. Because I guess another good point, at this rate, we have $3,046 in bonuses throughout the entire challenge. That's our total bonuses claimed to track everything. But it's not like our entire bankroll. We definitely lost a lot of that throughout the entire challenge. But as we get a bigger bankroll or more total capital, that bonus money won't be as significant. A lot of bonus money that I claim right now is like deposit matches. It's typically anywhere from like $5 to like $20. So it's really significant early on when the bankroll is like $1,000 or like $2,000. Now that we're like $5,000, if I get like a $5 bonus, it's really not that big of a deal. So that's why I'm trying to kind of rework some things and make sure we're making money elsewhere besides trying to rely on the bonuses that much. Another strategy that ChatGPT suggested was trying to like farm the website we use. Can't mention the name, but it suggests like trying to like farm the website for like weekly and monthly bonuses, which I don't know how I don't think that works out well, because I don't think they would pay you back more money than they wouldn't make you profitable, right? If you lose money or if you wager like $100,000 and you only lose like $1,000 doing that, I don't think the monthly or weekly bonuses would pay out more money than $1,000 that you lost from gambling, because it's based on like wager and losses. So, they're obviously smart on their end. They're going to make their money. So I don't think that makes sense. So, but it's something that I can look into some more. Our win rate, I think, is going up a little bit here. I think it was like 71.3% last time, a couple episodes ago. So we're getting some more wins, even though it doesn't feel like it, but we're moving in the right direction. I think that's pretty much it. I know I'm kind of talking a lot, but yeah, I'm really trying to think of ways to kind of change the challenge, make it more successful without using my own money. That's one of the big things. Another final suggestion that AI suggested, and I'll stop after this, I promise. But thank you for staying this long if you're still here. It suggested that I use like YouTube revenue and add it to the challenge, because like technically it's not my own money. It's made off the challenge because I'm like making content out of it. But I've always opted to do that. A couple people suggest I do that too, like throughout the challenge. Why don't you add like your ad revenue? But I feel like once I do that, I can't go back on it, because I'm adding like, I don't know. I kind of think of that as like my own money because I'm making money personally from doing it. But I could add that to the challenge too. This is another idea, but I really don't make that much from YouTube anyways, so I don't know if it's even worth it. But it's another idea too. So something to consider. A lot of ideas, and I'm just trying to make like one change at a time and not make 3 or 4 changes and mess up a lot of things at once. I kind of want to test like each little change at once separately, see if it works, see if it doesn't work, and then like try the next thing. So that's where we're at. I know it's a lot, but I'm really starting to take this a little bit more serious. in the background, doing a lot of ideas, a lot of research. So I hope that excites you guys too, because I'm really trying to make this successful and turn things up a little bit. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, leave them below in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and join the Discord server if you're already in there. Don't gamble. It's a losing game in the long run, I promise you. It's not profitable. So I don't suggest you try this. This is purely for fun and just to see if I can make $1 million without risking any of my own personal money. But until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.